Howdy folks, and welcome back to the VinMan Show. I'm the VinMan. Actually, maybe I should tell you my real name is Vince. Actually, my real name is Vincent, but I've never gone by Vincent, mostly Vince. Well, and where the VinMan came from was, let's see, where did that come from? Let's see, way back when I was in my 20s, called the Roaring 20s, called the hippie days, which I'll talk to you about those coming up. But back in those days, everybody called everybody man. Hey man, hey man, hey man. And so I thought, that's kind of interesting. Everybody was man. And that was when I was drinking a lot of beer. And then when I get to my 30s, I changed to wine. And I hardly drink any beer anymore. I mainly drink wine. And somehow my name changed to Vintage. So a lot of people, hey, Vintage. Vincento Vintage. Yeah, I go by that too. And I did drink a lot of wine in those days. And anyways, well, that's another story to tell you later on too. So, and of course, in business, they call me Vince. But then, oh, my cousins, they all call me Vinny. Cousin, hey, cousin Vinny. I wonder where that came from. So I have a lot of names, and then so I was remembering back, everybody called me man, so why not just reduce the Vince down to Vin, and also known as the Vin Man. That's me. Anyway, last time I told you I was going to tell you about the book I wrote, and yeah, this is a good plug. This is a good time to plug it. And if you're just turning in for the first one, you should go back and watch the other ones to where you know where we're heading on this. I'm not going to be getting into my book. However, if you would like to buy a copy of my book, yeah, I might as well plug it. You can get a hold of. See, I live in Long Beach, so my email address is Long Beach, which is lbvinman at hotmail.com. So I'm the lbvinman at hotmail.com. Simple enough. And if you want to write me, you could write me emails to lbvinman at hotmail.com. But again, I remind you, do not write a lot of paragraphs, because if it's a long, drawn out thing, I am not reading it all. If it's short and sweet and to the point, I'll love to read it. And if you have negative things to say, well, or on how I can improve the show, I'll read those. But I was always taught, like if you don't have anything good to say, don't say nothing. So just keep that in mind. I like to hear good thoughts, but here again, after writing this book, I had to develop quite a thick skin because, man, critics are something else. You produce something of art, and you as the artist think it's very beautiful, and then somebody else comes along and just chops the heck out of it. You go, holy cow! Did I miss it? But then you just realize that you can't please everybody. Anyways, I'm going to tell you the title of my book is called The Cure. That's right. And I wrote this book a long time ago, but it took me 3 years to write. I wrote this book actually in 1992 to 1995. And it took me 3 years to write it because at the time I was working a job during the day and had kids, and so I couldn't really start writing until you come home from work and then to play with the kids and feed them and put them to bed, and then I have to have a little bit of time. And when you're writing, you got to get your mind set back into where your book is, which it was in what mine was. It was about the future. It was which is coming up, which is happening right now. That's why, my prediction back then was all this was going to happen in around 2012. Now it hasn't come to pass yet, what my predictions in the book were, but I think it's coming up pretty darn soon. And when I do my second publication, actually, so right now, if you order a book, you get the first publications, which has all my errors, all my editorial errors and misspelled words in it. Which some people like that, and just shows you how human I am. And I'm not a very good speller, and I had to reread it and have other people reread it and reread it and reread it. And still, you don't get them all. But on my second, once I get all these sold, then I probably will do a second batch, and then I will change the predictions when I think um, what's going to come to pass is going to come to pass. And actually, what is going to come to pass is very biblical. Because my book is divinely inspired by, you know who, God, and and whereas it says in the Bible, pretty soon you will not be able to buy or sell without a mark on your hand. So that means there's going to be no more paper money, no more credit cards. You're just going to have a mark on your hand that you just run across a thing and you'll have a credit account. And I think that's coming up real soon. I mean, even the India is doing away with their paper money as we speak. I mean, they're not making people get the tattoos on their hands yet, or laser chips or whatever it's going to be, but they use credit cards. And I think that's coming pretty darn soon to the United States, and then worldwide it'll be a paperless, no paper money anymore, and that's one of my predictions in here. And I thought that would happen by now. I thought it would happen by 2012. That's why I let it sit on the shelf for so long. I didn't publish it back in 1995. I think I published it back in 2010. And because I thought I said, man, I got to get this out there because this is a prediction for the future, and it's easy to write a book after things happen. But this is I'll show you a copy of my book. Here it is, The Cure by Vince Biles. That's me. And if you look over my shoulder there, which way should I go? See that picture hanging behind me? Does it look like this? That's right. That's where I had my own, my brother-in-law painted the painting, and I took a picture of it and made the cover of my book. And yeah, because I mean, when you write a book, there's a lot of hats you have to wear. First, you have to write it, then you have to edit it, then you have to uh, find a publisher, which no one would publish my book. So I had to be the self-publisher. And then the hard part about is marketing. So that's why I just gave it a little plug right now. So, I mean, and I'm going to sell them cheap because I think they need to get out $10. Well, plus probably $5 for shipping. So $15 will get you a nice thing like that. And I tell you, the Cure actually is a synonym for the Christian Underground Railroad Express. And let me just read you what's on the back here too. So it says, um, this book is an easy read for such heavy subject matter. It is about the near future when people will not be able to buy or sell without a mark on their hand, as there won't be any more paper money. You won't need a dictionary to understand what is being said or coming. The Bible says, "The just shall live by faith." This writer gives a scary glimpse into the future for Christians. However, he encourages the Christian walk through adventures in faith. Prophecy equals prediction of the future under the influence of divine guidance. This book has been divinely inspired. The Cure is an acronym for the Christian Underground Railroad Express. And yes, it is like the Underground Railroad from the Civil War days. And I went on to say, when good men do nothing, evil flourishes. And I said, thanks be to God. And so that's what my book is about. And actually, you know, when I was writing it, I thought I was writing it for an audience. But when I go back and read it, especially when I was having my struggle in the hospital, struggling for my life, it really helped encourage me to understand adventures in faith. You have to be a believer. Um, uh, anyways, without giving too much more away about the book, I could read just one little sentence here. It says, a body of God's people fight to survive in order to preserve the true knowledge of faith, which would ensure the future of Christianity. Right now, we see Christianity under big attack, especially all over the world, and now even in the United States. You can't take a Bible to school. You can take a Quran, but you can't take a Bible to school. They've taken down a lot of the Ten Commandments out of the schools, and they kick God out of schools. And now look what's happened to them. We're getting shootings. It's unbelievable. And if you kick God out, he's a gentleman. He will leave. And if he leaves, unfortunately, you get what you're left with, which is you don't want to be left with that. Anyways, that was my plug on my book. And I've also given you my email address, and I'm not trying to hide. I took my sunglasses off. I've given you my name, my email, and I would like to hear from you, and maybe you could say, yeah, we like your show, talk longer, or yeah, we like your show, but shut up and talk less. I don't really care. Just, but I would like your input. Just, it'd be great. So, anyways, I would like to talk longer at a time, but I think your attention span gets what I'm saying, and then you could digest it and move along. But anyway, go back and look at my previous recordings, and you'll see where we're heading in this episode. And until then, I'm signing off, and thanks for watching, and be happy. Okay.